like a brush for ants. What's up, friends? Welcome back to my channel. I hope you all are doing well. As promised, I finally got my hands on the new Hermes eyeshadow palettes, and surprise, surprise, they're super duper expensive. So I know a lot of you are wondering, Sophia, are these worth it? Don't worry, I got you. I'm going to help you out with this review. I'm also going to be showing you guys a rather unexpected way that you can also use these palettes. So make sure you keep on watching until the demo. And by the way, if you are new here, welcome to my channel. My name is Sophia. I am a complete luxury beauty addict, and I like to say that I spend my money so that you don't have to. I upload new videos every single week on luxury beauty and a little bit of luxury fashion and lifestyle as well. So if that is your jam, hit that subscribe button to join our fam. And as a reminder, friends, I will be linking a shopping guide on where you can pick these up in the description box down below. Thankfully, they're popping up at a bunch of retailers now, which is a good thing. And I do use affiliate links, so when you shop through my links, I do earn a small commission that goes back to supporting my channel. Now, without further ado, friends, let's get into this review. All right, party people, these are the Ombres de Hermes, and they retail for a whopping $108 here in the United States. And guys, I'm gonna help you figure out if these are gonna be worth it for you. Let me show you the two palettes that I picked up. We're gonna do some swatches, and then I will do a demo with each of the palettes. Let's start off with palette number 03. This is called Ombres Fauves. I picked this one out because I thought it would be the perfect, soft, elegant, everyday palette. You have some really pretty neutrals in there, kind of like neutral to cool tone, really beautiful on the eye. One of them is more of a satin and the other one is more of a high shine metallic. But then you have kind of a balance between those and a little pop of coral to kind of brighten things up if you so choose, and also a rich chocolate brown if you want to add a little bit more depth to your look. So really beautiful and soft and neutral for every day. You are paying $108, so I kind of figured, why not go for something that maybe you would get a little bit more use out of? The other palette that I picked up is number 06, and this one is called Ombres Mordorees. This one looked like the perfect going out, maybe date night, holiday palette, beautiful for fall and winter, but honestly all year round. I like the fact that this one comes with two high shine metallics in two very wearable shades, kind of like a gold and then a silvery champagne. But then to keep things interesting, you also have that beautiful deep burgundy shade. And as well, you have a deeper, more of like a cool tone chocolate brown to deepen things up and maybe even smoke things out for a nighttime look. And just like all of the other products at Hermes, these palettes come with their own little orange box. You just slide it open right here. And inside, not only will you find the palette, but you will also get a little dust bag for your palette made of this rather substantial fabric. Now, when I saw the photos for these palettes, all of them were kind of merchandised alongside a little brush. And I thought to myself, oh, that's so cute. It comes with a little brush, a little bit more value for your money. But when I got my palettes, I couldn't find the little brush. I'm like, where's the little brush? Is it in the bottom of the component? Did I forget it in the box? It's in the dust bag, friends. Okay, I literally just realized this yesterday. I feel so dumb. But the little brush, I'll show you, is in the little pouch. And there's actually within the dust bag a tiny little orange loop where you can put the little brush in. And I thought that was so cute. So there is a little brush, and little it is indeed. It is so cute and bitty. We'll try and use this during the demo to see how effective it is, but it pretty much is the same as what you get in a Chanel palette. This is the one from the Chanel palette I just showed you guys. I think it's just extra cute because it looks like a full-size brush that's been shrunken down a la Honey, We Shrunk the Kids. It's very, very cute. We'll see if it's useful, but it is very cute. The final thing that I want to mention, friends, about these palettes is just the ingredients. I was taking a look at the ingredients for each of the palettes. Some of the shades have talc and some of them do not. For example, in this one right here, this shade has talc, but it doesn't seem like the rest of them do. And then if I'm not mistaken, there is no talc in this palette. So if you are a talc-free shopper, just check the ingredients on the Hermes website or on another, department store website to see if there is some talc. Taking a look at the boxes, it just says long-lasting formulas of natural origin, but talc is of natural origin. So just something to keep in mind, guys. And I think those are all the details that you need to know. Editing Sophia here. I seem to have lost the part of this video footage where I showed you guys how much product you get in these palettes. And a lot of you guys were asking about this. So I just wanted to make sure that I mentioned it real quick. You get 3 grams of product in these. Many of you were saying that these look super duper tiny. And indeed, they are tiny. And indeed, you do not get a lot of product for the money. For $108, 3 grams of product really isn't that much, but I did just want to show you a quick little side-by-side up against your standard Chanel palette. In a Chanel palette, you get 2 grams of product. So 2 grams, 3 grams, still not a good value really for either of them. Hopefully that helps for you guys. And then I know a lot of people were also saying that they really don't like the layout of the palette. They do not like the mixture of the squares and the circles. I actually really like that. I know it's not for everybody. When I first looked at these palettes and I saw the pattern, I was definitely reminded of the beautiful whimsical and geometric patterns that Hermes has in their scarves and a lot of their ready-to-wear. So I actually think that that fun little whimsical pattern is very on brand. Maybe that's a little bit of a stretch, but for me, I actually quite enjoy it, and it does remind me of their beautiful silk scarves. So I just wanted to include that. Now let's get back to the video. Now let's get into the demos. All right, friends, I'm so excited to show you these palettes. I'm actually gonna create kind of like a more glam look with the 06 Mordorees palette, and then I'll take that off and we'll do a look with the 03 Fauve. I'm gonna recreate a look that I actually did for dinner last night. I wear tested both of these palettes, by the way, so I have a lot to share about that. On the box here, it does kind of tell you the way that you can use these. There's always a neutral base, a dark color / liner, a light accent, and a surprise color in each palette. In this palette, the surprise color is the burgundy, and in the Fauve palette, it's that coral. So I'll kind of go by that, but whatever, y'all will see, y'all will see. I'm first gonna go into this gold shade right here. And just as they suggested, I like to use this as an all over base. Now the metallic shades in these palettes, just like the one I'm going into right now, they have a very creamy texture. So what I find is that you don't get that much fallout, both with application and also with wear. It's not glittery, but it is nicely metallic. Like, look how smooth and shiny that is, but in a very elegant way, not a chunky way, still looks really smooth on the eyelids, and honestly blends across the eye very, very effortlessly. I tap off my brush just to get a little bit of the excess off because it's good practice. But like I said, it really, see here, it really doesn't make much of a mess. It's just kind of like the excess dust around the pan. So take a look at that beautiful gold. The nice thing about this palette is that you could totally wear this shade as a one and done, or even the one we're gonna go into next, but then you have options to play around with those 2 shades as well. Beautiful. I'm kind of obsessed with this gold shade. And I think what's nice about this too is that it's not too yellow. A lot of you guys told me in my Guerlain holiday review that you didn't really like how yellow the gold was. This is not yellow like that. It's more of a true neutral gold. Next, I'm gonna go in with the little bittiest brush there was, and I'm gonna go into the champagne shade. And just as they have suggested, I'm gonna use this as a highlight shade. This brush, it's good if you want, I mean, I think it's good for like a one and done. I think it's good for the inner corner. And you know what? We're gonna take that shade as well and put it along the lower lash line. It's a really nice little brush. It's not gonna like help you create like the craziest smoky eye of all time, but I think you can actually get by with this little brush. This is another look that you can create and see how it just kind of brightened up the eye compared to when we didn't have the highlight shade. Now I'm gonna go into the surprise color, the burgundy right here, and I'm going to just kind of lightly smoke that out in the outer half of the eye. I know a lot of you guys, you are kind of scared of anything that is a little bit on the reddish side. This is not a super warm tone shade. It is a burgundy, and so that's why I think it's very easy to work with because it's almost like brown, especially when you layer it on top of the gold. And the nice thing too is that the metallic shades, even though they're creamy, they're not so sticky, where when I go in with this true matte shade, which is what the burgundy is, it doesn't like stick in a little clump. So I also very much appreciate that. See how nice and pigmented this is? But it's very, very effortless to blend. If you wanted this to be even more diffuse, you just use a brush that is a little bit larger and fluffier than the one that I'm using. So there you have it with the burgundy and without the burgundy. Now I'm gonna go into the cool tone brown with a little flat brush, and we're gonna see if we can apply this as a liner. I like to just smudge this into the lash line like so, and adds like a little bit of smoke right there. You also can wet your brush, which actually let me do right now. I've got a little mist and fix here from Makeup Forever that I brought over, and I just want to sort of demonstrate how you can deepen this up, and you can also make the line a little bit more graphic. So there you can see kind of like the depth that we created at the lash line, and if you wanted to, you could kind of like wing it out a little bit as well. I actually want this to be just a little bit smokier, so I'm going to take things a step further, go back into the brown with kind of like a pencil brush, and I'm going to add a little bit more brown there to the outer corner, and I'm going to sort of smudge the line that I created. I just want this one to be more of like the glam look, but I think you guys can see how you can use these very neutral colors to create something every day or create more of like a going out look. For these matte shades, you know, they're dry, like a matte. They're a totally different formula than the metallics for sure that are in here, but they don't feel as dry as like a Tom Ford matte, for example, like the palette I recently reviewed for you guys, and also the newly reformulated Dior shadows. Those are a little bit of a drier formula. This is a little bit easier to pick up on average, but it's still very easy to work with. You can blend it out very nicely. I'm also going to take the little bitty brush, go into that deep color, and I'm going to put a little bit on the lower lash line. Actually, I think you can use the little brush here in the outer corner and it works. Who knew? Who knew this little brush would be so useful? I'm actually kind of obsessed with it. I think it's the cutest little thing ever. And it's not frustrating to use. It doesn't feel as, you know how a lot of these little brushes, they feel very plasticky and synthetic? It is, I'm almost certain, a synthetic brush, but it doesn't feel that way. It feels really soft, kind of like a BK Beauty brush. Okay, I think I like how this is looking. Let me put on some mascara and I'll be right back. All right, friends, so this is the eye look with palette number 6. Comment down below and let me know what you think. I particularly love the juxtaposition of the bright neutral metallic shades with the soft smokiness of the matte shades. And the burgundy is very beautiful because it's a color, it's a pop of color, but it's still very neutral and easy to work with. Now, here's where things get interesting. I told you guys in the intro of this video that I was going to show you a way to use these palettes that maybe nobody has thought of. I don't know if anyone has done this, but when I took a look at the surprise shades in each of these palettes, my thought was, can I use the coral and or the burgundy shade as a blush? I know. Can we use them as a blush? Can we get more use out of a $108 palette? And guys, you absolutely can. So let me show you how I like to use this as a blush. We're gonna do the same for the other palette in just a second. Yes, it is like the tiniest blush of all time. This is a blush for like Barbie or something, but you can still pick up the pigment very easily. And because these are so pigmented, you only need a little bit. So what I like to do is to grab a fluffy brush or maybe something that's just a little bit more on the smaller side. This is a red squirrel hair brush, so this is kind of like the fluffiest and softest one I have in my collection. And I just gently dab it there so I can see that I'm picking up. You guys can probably see that. You can see I've picked up quite a bit of pigment, and then I'll kind of just like work it into the brush. And then let me show you what this looks like. And this is a deeper palette, so I do think that kind of like a burgundy blush can work with it. Or hey, if you're doing a lighter look with just the gold or maybe the champagne, this can be like a little bit more of a pop. You know, you're not going to want to go in with a huge brush like this gonzo right here. You're going to want to use a smaller, wispier brush. And then if you feel like you need to buff it out a little bit more, you can just take a larger brush and kind of do just that. So there you have it, friends. This is the final look using the surprise shade as a blush. You gotta let me know what you think of this. You could go a little bit lighter if this is too much blush for you, but I actually think it looks super duper beautiful. I don't think that you could use these as highlighters. I don't think I would recommend it necessarily because it's a very creamy formula, and I do think it'll be a little bit difficult to spread around, but I guess you could put, you know, a little bit on your finger and you could kind of dust it on and then maybe blend it out a bit. See how it kind of just sits there? So I don't know if I would use this as a highlighter, but in terms of this as a blush, I think it looks gorgeous. Let me know what you think in the comment section. Alrighty, I have a fresh slate and now we're gonna go into the Ombre Fauve. I'm gonna start off with the base shade right here. And I actually think that this is my favorite part of the palette because this is just like the perfect everyday, like one and done soft satin shade. This formula is not present in the other palette that I just demoed, friends. It is a little bit, like I said, it's more of like a satin. It has a slight sheen to it. It's not totally matte, but it is not the creamy texture of the metallics that you just saw in the other demonstration. It makes a beautiful base shade. And I actually think this might pop on you a little bit more if you have a deeper skin tone. But for me, it's just a beautiful neutral shade. Makes doing your makeup super easy. And the quality, the way it blends out, it's very similar to the colors in the other palette. And then taking the little brush, I'm also going to go into the accent shade. This one is kind of similar to the accent shade that is in the other palette. It's a little bit lighter and brighter. In fact, you know what? Let's do a quick comparison. So they're pretty similar, but the one from this palette, see how it is more of a pearly color? And then the one from the palette 06, it has more of a gold tone. So this one's slightly more yellow, more warm, and this one is more of like that pinky, pearly undertone. I was wondering about that and I didn't do that comparison, so I thought we would just do it right there. Oh my gosh, if you layer this up, you can really get a lot, a lot of shimmer. I'm pretty impressed by how reflective these are because a lot of times with these luxury formulas, you don't really get like a ton of impact, but it seems like here, most of the palettes, they have these kind of brighter metallics, but at least they're not chunky. And then similarly, like we did with the other look, we're going to use the pop shade and we're going to use it as suggested as a little pop of color on the outer half of the lid. I kind of like how this, I don't know, just makes it a little bit more fun for daytime. I think corals look good on a lot of different skin tones as well. And you can kind of make this look a little bit beachier and more summertime in the summer, or you can make it look a little bit more autumnal in the fall by adding more of the brown, which I'll put on in just a second. But this is what the coral looks like. Very soft. I'm using a fluffy brush, so it's nothing like too harsh. And the tone, it's not super pink, so it's not really gonna make you look like you're sick or anything like that. I'm taking our little brush, going into the chocolate brown. This one is a bit more warm toned than the last palette. It's more of like that cocoa type of brown, whereas the other one had a little bit more of like a charcoal nature to it. And I'm using the little brush to get more of a soft look. The other one, we packed it on a bit more. I think less is more with these palettes. You can layer them up, but I don't think that they were really, you know, designed for like the most graphic looks of all time. And I'm going to keep the lower lash line pretty blank. I just had that soft base shade on there because I want to show you guys how you can have an elegant day look with this palette. And here we are, friends. Here's the eye look with palette number 03, Ombres Fauves. I went for a brown mascara in this case. I'm using the new brown mascara from Tower 28. They just sent this to me. I love their mascara, and now they have a brown shade. So if I can find it, I'll link it down below. And I think it looks beautiful and soft. And then just as we did with the other palette, we're gonna use the little coral shade as a blush. So let me get my fluffy brush once again, and I'm just going to dip into that. And this one's even easier to apply because it is a lighter shade. And you know what? Hermes has quite a few blushes that are a very similar shade to that. I feel like you could just use this. You could get the eyeshadow palette and use it as a little bit of a 2-in-1. This color is even prettier than the one from the other palette because, I don't know, just adds like a really beautiful softness. If you have a deeper skin tone, I would probably recommend the other eyeshadow palette because that deeper shade is gonna pop a little bit more in your skin tone. And then if you like maybe softer colors, if you have fair skin tone, I think the one you're probably gonna wanna go for is this one right here. And once again, friends, here is the final look using number 03 Ombre Fauve. Which of the palettes did you like the best? Which of the looks did you like the best? What did you think of the formulas, the finishes, the blush? I'm dying to hear. Comment down below, and now we're gonna get into my final thoughts. All right, friends, time for my final thoughts. What do I think of these Hermes eyeshadow palettes, and do I think they are worth it? And unfortunately, friends, they're good. They're good. I really like them. Unfortunately, for my wallet, I kind of want to collect all of them. I'm not going to get them all at once, but I probably will slowly collect these. And especially if they come out with fun seasonal options, I'm probably going to be picking those up in the future and reviewing them for you guys. The formula is really nice. I like the soft satin shades. I think the mattes are very easy to work with. They're very blendable, but they still have pigment. Like, these have really nice pigmentation, but they look very smooth on the eye. As I mentioned, the metallics have a really beautiful creamy feel to them. They lay across the eye very easily. They're not chunky. They're not super glittery. I think that they look super smooth. I don't know. Comment down below and you let me know what you think. The other thing is, guys, they have really nice longevity. I did very long wear tests with both of these palettes, and you'd think that because the metallics are very creamy that you would see creasing. Nothing. No creasing. No creasing, guys. The longevity is very good. These are very good quality eyeshadows. I'm very happy because they're so expensive. So at least the quality is there. I will also say, because the formulas are not super glittery, you don't get a ton of fallout both during application and also as you wear it throughout the day. Sure, I'll say, like, if you put the shimmery metallic shades here, you'll kind of see it slowly transfer throughout the day, but like, you really have to get up in that bathroom light for it to be noticeable. It's not something that's going to make you look kind of like tired at the end of the day. I really hate that. So overall, very impressed with the formula. I mentioned to you guys, you know, I'm pretty happy with the packaging. Could it be more luxe? It absolutely can. Because these are refillable, I really do think Hermes could do something very collectible and unique. Think about what Guerlain does with their lipstick cases, or even, you know, the beautiful quality and weightiness of a Victoria Beckham product or something from Westman Atelier. Those are the brands that I feel like are really killing it with the packaging. I think Hermes could do a little bit more in that regard. The only complaint that I have, guys, is that they're just so gosh darn expensive. And so my recommendation to you is probably to do what I did. Look for something that you can really see yourself wearing more, because if it's $108 and it's like a green or blue palette, which I know those ones are so beautiful, the more colorful ones in the collection, you got to really think to yourself, how often do you wear blue eyeshadow? How often do you wear green eyeshadow? I'll probably eventually collect those, but these are the ones that I decided to go for first because I really want to lower the cost per wear. Also, I was thinking I could use the pop shades as a blush, which you totally can. And to me, that makes using the palette a little bit more fun and a little bit more worth it. So yeah, man, I don't know what else to say. I think they're really good. I'm very, not necessarily pleasantly surprised, but I'm very satisfied with my purchase. I'm very much enjoying these. I do recommend them to you. I don't think that you're going to dislike them. It really just matters whether or not you need, you know, another neutral palette for $108. Normally, I tell you guys to go for like something more unique, but once again, with this, it might be a little bit safer to go the neutral route. So I hope that this review was helpful for you guys. If it was helpful, please don't forget to hit me up with a big thumbs up. I would very much appreciate that. And now it is your turn, friends. Sound off in the comments down below. Let me know what you think of these palettes. Are you just gobsmacked by how expensive they are? Do you think that they're beautiful? Have you tried them? What has your experience been? Let me know in the comment section down below. And if you're new here, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel because I come out with new reviews just like this one every single week. And with that, friends, I hope that you see some beauty in your day, and I will see you in my next one. Goodbye.